Everything is right. We are live. Sup, everyone? Welcome to the stream. Bit later than normal. Starting basically at past today. Needed a bit of rest. But we're going to be going into XL Fnatic. The matchup for the week. Obviously, I have been clamoring to get at some League of Legends for a while, and yeah, this is gonna be it. So let's kick it off. We'll go into draft straight away. I'm really looking forward to this one because I hyped it up as a matchup. Realistically, both squads need to win after what could be only described as a torrid winter split. I've got to get used to winter being a thing, and I'm not. When I recorded the predictions for the video, I kept calling it spring because I'm so used to it, and this is technically the second split, so I'm used to it being summer. Anyway, draft-wise, we are on patch 13.4, so Aurelion Sol, big pick, Annie, big pick, and yeah, ban-wise, we're seeing the A-Sol taken away. Varus Vi, Jace, Caitlyn. If Fnatic don't ban Zeri here, I see the Zeri angle coming out from XL. They ban the Ashe, so Zeri first pick for XL or Gragas? Gragas. Like this pick, honestly. Mad Lions during playoffs really was flexing this pick around, so having it come through, always good. Xayah received a few buffs onto 13-4, and Sejuani also picked up as a sort of stacking champ. I like it because it does have the ability to lock down a Zeri by throwing out the Glacial Prism, and there you go. Straight immediate pickup of the Zeri in the second rotation alongside the Annie. Now Annie obviously is in meta now due to the fact that her ultimate just has so much health. Tibbers is annoying and a nuisance. The shielding she provides is even bigger. She's basically a more damage heavy Lulu, and it's kind of why we're seeing her prefaced here over the other Yordle. Pairing it alongside a Zeri is also very nice because you can put the fiery shield onto the Zeri. She gets the speed up, she gets a big shield. I don't know if it's bigger than the Lulu shield, but realistically speaking, you just make Zeri a pop-off queen. Second phase though, obviously the Heimer comes through to round out Fnatic's first half of the draft. And ban-wise, we'll see Azir taken off the board. Olaf's gone from Odo, still leaving up the likes of the Cassante, the Jax, these carry-orientated top laners that maybe we see Odo pan towards. Wukong taken away from Xerxes, actually kind of smart. That was one of his big picks last year, so that being taken away is good. As for the rest of the bans, XL, I think they'll possibly target mid. They'll continue that. Silas is open. Akali's open. GP actually taken away. Okay. So Oscarin's not going to get a... So I always assume Gangplank's blind pick safety. If you pick it, it's very safe and you can't really counter it too hard. Unless you go like Renekton, which is open. But nah, gonna come through for Oscarin in his first LEC game. Kind of interesting, to be honest, because I've watched this game before and I know it does look very nervy from him during this game, and you can kind of see it with how he plays. Cassante will be locked in, we already know it. And the last pick is Victor, maybe something mid-laney strong for Mr. VTO. I wouldn't mind the Cassiopeia if it weren't for the fact that a lot of Fnatic are ranged. But yeah, they're just flicking through the picks, and it's going to be Victor. Just makes a lot more sense. You've got a lot of range. You can clear waves quite freely. If you look at the rest of the XL squad, I mean, Zeri can clear waves, but it's not as good as Victor's wave clear. Whereas Fnatic have a lot more sustainable wave clear. And the last pick's a Talia. I mean, I don't normally associate this champion with humanoid, because you want to get roaming and be aggressive, be aggressive. She's not something I assume would be more his playstyle. He plays the more like the control mage, the Azirs, the core keys, these more safety orientated, consistent damage, not something that's very burst heavy like this. But as a whole, looking at the two drafts, Fnatic want to control lanes, especially that bot lane. They want to get Reckless ahead early so he can balloon the game later. As for XL, it's just a lot of stock standard team fighting. They're very bulky with the Cassante and the Gragas, and then Annie as well. Yes, she might not build full tank, but she does have a lot of sustain, shall we say, to keep her alive. The rest of XL, I think, just got better off in this draft. It looks so much better for them in comparison to Fnatic. And I personally think that XL would walk away with it before we got into this, champ select. If you saw my predictions, I said XL, because I don't think Fnatic have upgraded, and I'm really disappointed that they've not got a intro into game song or music. It makes the game so much better than having it at the start of Champion Select. Now, this is kind of standard here from Fnatic. They want to get the turrets placed. They do not want to allow XL to ascertain control in the bot lane, so they're doing this to set up. Now, Oscarin, he gets caught out by the Annie stun and is forced to flash early. This is a big indicator to Xerxes to say, hey, top looks free, we can gank this. Like, it gives him this angle, like, at level 2, level 3. If not, I dare say, if Znar's playing greedy, he'll go QW. But if he's not, he'd go QE. To kind of assure he gets some safety here in that top lane. But essentially getting the flash out of Oscarin is a huge win for XL, because they invested an Ignite, a summoner that comes up exceptionally quick in comparison to Flash, and that just means a lane that XL won't have any kill pressure in. The bot lane is not a kill hungry lane for XL. It's just to sustain through the Heimer pressure, through Desire pressure, and as a whole, just keep them ahead of Fnatic. They just want it farm friendly. And you can see right now that the minions are favoring Fnatic. That's because Hymus gets pushed so easily. He just puts a turret down in your face. You either kill it quick or it does a lot of chip damage. And right now, level 2 comes through to Advian. He's got the bouncing bomb of safety, and look where his turrets are. He's got one right at the front of that brush. Normally you see it further back, but Fnatic want to ascertain push early. Reckless actually is doing the smart thing here. He's pulling the wave up out the way of the turret so that it doesn't kind of start shooting the minions and it cannot realistically be cleared out. But obviously the second half of the wave wasn't pulled by Reckless, so he kind of loses that turret. But Advian's playing it smart. He's hovering back a bit. The turret is doing its job, just not being aggressive. Like, it's just there to give a bit of safety now. He's now placing him forward because he knows that Reckless wants to get pushing, get this under turret, and possibly crash in a couple of plating. Now, we've focused quite heavily into spot lane. Let's just pan up a little bit across the items into that mid lane. Taliyah has a stopwatch, and minion dematerializes. Kind of an interesting build or rune path that Taliyah's gone. She's actually gone Glacial Augment. Kind of surprising, considering... Actually, is that Summoner's Spellbook? No, sorry, it's Summoner's Spellbook. Why am I being an idiot? Anyway, we've got the play down bot side. They're going on to the Annie. She is just going to fall. That was a good play overall from Fnatic. They sent 4 members bot, and they got a TP out as well. Just look, the TP came bot, and immediately Victor backs to base because he knows he's too late. Good play from Fnatic, because Humanoid using the walls gets back to mid lane quick enough, a lot quicker than what VTO can, and there we go. And look at that jungle, it's actually riddled with wards. And the Annie isn't going to use Sweeper here. Like, she's just spotted on her entire route down to bot. She finally uses Sweeper just to clear out 1 ward. That's a lot of investment there from Fnatic to get that kill. And I like that overall from them. Because they set up the vision. They made sure they could get down bot. Look, that's the triple ward setup. So you've got the ward here. We just saw that the ward's down there. And then there's one there. You can't come into the jungle here, or down there if you are Xerxes. So Fnatic had full track of this jungle to make that play work. That's pretty fucking good, honestly. And I'm swearing already. But Annie? Gonna find the ward. Gonna realize, hey, Fnatic have set up quite heavily here. And they know that she's mid. They know Annie's down here. They know that Xerxes here. So Humanoid playing with the respect and backs away. Simple. Good play overall. Other side of the map, Razork looking to dive Odo. Oscarin has gone Mega. So if you're going to go for a play, you need to go for it now. You're level 6. Goes under the turret. Oh, good dodge there from Odo onto the Nar's wallop. Or the Nar. Mid Humanoid ticking. He won't die to that. That'd be 2 more ticks. 3 more ticks of the Victoral. Would have killed. But it's a slow enough pace right now that he won't get a kill. So, just to retake stock of what just happened. Oscarin whiffed ult. He didn't get under turret enough to knock Odo into a stun position. If that would have happened, Razork definitely would have dove Odo, and that probably would have been a kill over to Na. However, I'm pretty sure the turret would have ramped up enough to kind of stop that. Back to top. Odo going aggressive, using the ult. Na isn't actually near... Wow. Na was nowhere near getting Mega. So Odo gets a freebie kill onto a very squishy Na. Just not playing with enough respect there for the kill potential of Cassante. That's the simple thing about that play. Odo now has a lead, has CS control, and it's a pretty hefty CS control. Humanoid could look to roam up there, use a Weaver's Fall, but realistically speaking, you look where Sedge is. She just cleared out the bot lane, or bot side jungle. And yeah, I'm going to put this down and stop playing with something in my hands. And yeah, so nothing really can be going on here to even out the top lane. I think with how Cassante is, very safe champion. We just saw a failed dive already on him. So Odo knows that they want to keep Oscar in the game. However, right now, I'm going to be brutally honest, it just seems doom and gloom topside for that. Nah. Obviously, when it comes to late game team fighting, you favor a Nah as Glacial Prism comes through. That's probably going to dissuade XL off of the Herald. It's going to reset in a wacky, funny manner. Jeez. But look how many members of Fnatic here. They've got the 4-man squad, the 5-man in the mid lane. It's a similar sort of thing for XL. Everyone has roamed up, including Patrick. And I think that's a big difference maker. Although, realistically speaking, you look at the rest of the map, there's gold advantages over to Fnatic everywhere but top. Mid, you could say is even as well, but that's still not losing. And as such, you kind of have to realize that Fnatic would have probably won this Herald fight if they obviously could get Adrian into a position with all the turrets set up. Because otherwise, things like... Otherwise, you kind of... basically, what Fnatic have just done is they've just gone up to the Herald, watched it be started by XL, backed up, because they don't think they can win it, and essentially are just getting plates bot. Like, okay, don't get me wrong, I would have preferred if Fnatic took the Herald, but I don't like the fact that they took Reckless out of bot lane here just to go watch the Herald. That's basically what just happened, and so naturally this Xayah has missed out on turret plates. You could have easily took about 2-3, knowing full well that Patrick and Limit have roamed up to go to this Herald play. As a whole, Fnatic just missed the cross map. A very easy cross map to play because there was no threat to your bot lane. TPs are technically available, but they're not unleashed for another 2 minutes. We know that Odo's is on cooldown. The only one that could really match is VTO, and he was more concerned about securing Herald over, say, stopping a couple of plates going over to Reckless. Now, the game state is fairly even. Herald is kind of the thing that's keeping it close. Because turret plate wise, I would say mid lane is even. Bot side, there's a few turret plates taken already. 3 plates off that bottom turret. And yeah, it's even turret plating except for top, where Odo has the advantage. And he's smashing this Nah as Annie gets just bodied. Flashing forward, stunning up Humanoid. Is gonna die eventually to Sejuani. Okay, I'm a bit intrigued by this one. So, the initial play comes from just Limit not realizing that Razork is nearby. Excuse me. Razork's cleared out the vision, so he knows he hasn't been spotted. He ults, lands the W. He doesn't go over with the Q because he knows that Humanoid's going to burst him out with the seismic shove. When Annie survives here and shields, this is where Razork's like, oh crap, I need to go kill her. And I just want to see what happens with the 3 members of XL. So VTO and the Annie jump. Well, basically, I want to see where the damage goes. Okay, so Humanoid flashes the second half of the laser. And then it's just the fact that they pull the Victory away from Talia. Bit weird. Not gonna lie. I'm intrigued why that they pulled off all their damage onto the Talia. Probably because Heimer's there. It would have been a 3v2. So overall, I get it, but I would still have left the Talia ult going towards the Victor ult going towards the Talia. My brain just had a brain fart there. Anyway, second Drake. I mean, XL can realistically give this one no real like threat of soul off of this as top side. Cassante just killing out Gnar. You are letting the Gnar charge the Gnar bar, but it's not that big of an issue. Bot side, plating falls in 2 minutes. So, Razork kind of wants to go make a repeat gank. Bot side as top. Mega Gnar is an issue. Flash walks back into the laser, into the gravity field. Odo gets a free and easy kill. What's the counterplay on the other side of the map? It's been called off, it appears. It looked like they were going to go for a play there with where Razork was standing. But it looks like a turret plate fell and that's it. They're just getting pressure. Weaver's Wall comes through. They've landed a stun onto Yanni, but she stuns harder. Turret damage just is a big impactful thing. Odo's bot now. That's the advantage from XL on the bottom half of the map. He doesn't have ult. Good use of the stopwatch there by the Talia to avoid the ult. 2 for 1. Still in favor of XL. Good play from XL. Bit greedy, I would say, trying to chase down Humanoid. Obviously, we knew he had the stopwatch since the start of the game. But, like... Okay, I'm getting flashbacks to my solo queue games. A Cassante running at an ADC. I have stories about that. Anyway. Let's watch it again. So, basically... Humanoid comes in with the Weaver's Wall right now. And so, Sedge comes through. Like, okay, we can't let the Annie get beyond the Weaver's Wall. Or you do, and you turn your attention to Patrick. Granted, Patrick probably is a bad target because he can just E over the wall. Basically, the only target that Fnatic have here is the Annie. And that's why we see Razork targeting her quite heavily. He lands a stun, hits the W, but he is now tanking turret. So Limit does this smart thing of letting the Sedge take the turret shots and have full aggro before dropping Tibbers on him. Because once he takes a couple turret shots, maybe even 3, that's a lot of the Sedge's health bar gone. And so 1, 2 turret shots have now landed onto Sedge. Third one. The third one is really, really good because that cast comes through. And yeah, it just means that it's pretty easy for XL to actually just kill off this Sedge for free. Now, bit of over-aggression because Odo's here. And he's fed. He just thinks, oh, we can kill this Talia. It's pretty easy. And they probably would have if the Q3 landed. The belly bop comes through. The stun comes through from Limit. But the fact that the CC chain did come through from XL by Limit as well as I say, it was pretty unlucky for the fact that, yeah, they just didn't capitalize on the play because they probably would have all died. And we don't want them to all die here if you're XL. They're just, honestly, playing this quite smart. Now, I do say thank you to you for saying it's a great call. Honestly, it was pretty interesting. It was kind of expected, I felt, having two rookies on the Fnatic side of Rift. I say rookies. Advian isn't a rookie, but it is technically his like third split in the LEC, which he's very new to the league, and with it being his first time back in over a year, kind of expected for him to be, or for Fnatic not to really win this one. XL as a whole, it felt like Odo did for most of this game, due to the fact that Oscarin kind of whiffed a lot of what he was doing. And so, I personally think that XL may still be a bottom half team, but they looked a lot cleaner yesterday in comparison to how they did in winter. But returning back to the game right now, Herald just got taken by XL. This is actually good, because if you can put that in a lane against no opposition or against Reckless, you kind of are nullifying the advantage he has. So gold-wise, you probably want to invest that into Patrick, just so that he can kind of deal with this Xayah a little bit easier. Because granted, we're at a stage of the game where it's just clear waves and wait for objectives, and what do you know, dropping it in the face of the Xayah to get mid lane tier 1. I like this. Mid lane tier 1, obviously, big pressure point on the map. You get to open up the side lanes a bit easier, and with the fact that you know that Odo is winning in his lane, this is a big bonus for XL, because you just get such an easy time getting access in the top half and the bottom half of the map, and you can kind of see it, realistically speaking. Got a few wards in this bottom half jungle. Something that Fnatic put a lot of preference to in the early game was securing vision in the bottom half of the map, and you can kind of see it here. They've got vision in the bottom blue side map. It's a great setup for flanks, but you look at the summoners right now on Fnatic, there's no TP available, or it's coming up now, I can't tell. But this fight's coming through. Odo's just going to burst out the Sedge, and then Victor putting damage on top of it. Look where Victor left his ult. Just sectioning away Fnatic, and Reckless realizes, okay, we haven't got jungler here. There's no smite, this fight's over. Oscarin, you're positioning in a flank position, but you're not going to get anything. You're going to go Mega, but that's it. You just get Mega. That's it. There's nothing from this. Mid lane tier 1 traded, though, is good for Fnatic. They also haven't opened up in the sides now. Honestly, Fnatic's playing quite heavily to bot side. Like, it's noticeable that they want to keep Reckless alive, and with him getting his second item now. So watch us play again. So essentially, I didn't really capitalize on what was going on. I kind of let the fight happen while I talked about TPs. So, XL are in the Mountain Dragon Pit, and Patrick's using the extended wall here to obviously use his W's to poke him away. He's also playing with a bit more safety because he can go over this wall quite nicely. Limit is here. He wants to be able to either flash, ult, and hit as many targets as possible with the stun. That's his sort of go signal. Same with the Gragas. If that stun comes through, he can just cast in the targets he wants. And Odo is kind of playing bouncer. If Sedge goes into the pit, he is more than likely looking to ult her over to here, here, or even here towards the Annie, so that the stuns can come through. So what ends up happening is Sedge throws her ult out onto the Gragas, stunning him. I don't like how early it is. The Drake is at 5k health. That can't be bursted. So they're trying to burst out the Gragas instead. I don't like it, because he's very bulky at this part of the game. And so Sedge goes headfirst, knocks him up. The Heimerdinger. Oh, that doesn't land cleanly onto Xerxes. In fact, Odo gets in the way and tanks most of it. So when Odo gets in front of it, that's a lot more magic resist, bulkier frontline, tanking it over the Gragas. You just realize, okay, Sedge is basically dead here. So look what Fnatic do. They kind of back it up. Yes, they get kind of distracted by the Odo going forward. But look, Sedge is now being bursted. Completely out of the fight. She actually gets knocked back. And dead. Just simple. Good play overall from XL to bounce to the Drake pit. It was pretty bad from Fnatic in terms of target selection. Like, if you threw the ult over here, you would have more than likely hit the Zari. But, like, you're still in a means of a choke point against a team that controls the map well. And I'm just going to pause it here. You've got Victoral kind of zoning here. Zeri W zoning here. How do you get into this pit if you are Fnatic? You just get poked away. Like, the laser can come out from Victor as well. The Zeri is just a massive threat that I don't think Fnatic really drafted to deal with. They just drafted to kind of stay relevant bot side. Not, like, shut her down late. Because she's still going to be a massive threat. Granted, Reckless is a full item ahead of her. It's still a very beneficial part of the map for XL, as they've not really gained anything since about minute 1. Fnatic are kind of choking the map here, as Oscarin is looking down the barrel of a 3v1. Gragas dodges the Sedgel, gets the flash out. That's... okay. Let's be honest. XL as a whole are capitalizing quite heavily on top. They're just forcing pressure onto Oscarin, not allowing him to kind of be a threat. And I'm glad that they're showing this sort of style, because Odo last year was kind of their only win con as a player. He was winning his lane most of the time. He was shutting down his opponents. And this game, kind of showing his strength. And with XL kind of playing a bit more towards him, it's a good sign ahead of the rest of the split. But bear in mind, winter and spring are very short in terms of their regular season. You've got 3 weeks, 9 games to showcase why you deserve to be in playoffs. And right now, with how certain teams are kind of flopping, like the Koi, who realistically just flopped against Astralis yesterday, as well as XL being on a bit more of an uptrend, and then you've also got Fnatic being bottom half again. I feel it's definitely going to be an interesting spring into a summer, I feel, in comparison to winter into spring, where we knew certain changes would happen. But I am kind of jumping to conclusions before we even get into the split, really. You've had 1 game sample size. I can't really comment fully on how a team will do, but right now, it does feel like Fnatic is a yikes team. I don't think dropping Wonder was a big issue, like in terms of why, as oh my days, yeah, humanoid doing humanoid things, that's all I need to say. It's about out that. But basically, I don't think Wonder was the issue why Fnatic lost a lot of their games last year, or last split. I do think there wasn't enough synergy between the roles. But you have to realize Fnatic as a team are driven by success. That's how they have been since their inception. They're literal world champions. Granted, none of these players are world champions in their own right, but this team's built on success and legacy. And you just have to realize that this squad isn't the same thing as what they were 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. They've been on a downtrend for quite some time, and I think the last split was a big eye-opener. Just a lot of trading of abilities there. There's not much really gained from that. Looking at summoners, pretty much every safety spell is up on XL's side. Fnatic invested not too much. Weaver's Wall comes through. I think that's a bad use of the wall, because you've not actually gained anything. You sectioned away the Victor, who's already back with his team. You've not really pushed the Weaver's Wall advantage, because you use it to separate yourselves from XL. It was such a bad wall. Back in the fight, I'm just watching Odo here, looking for him to get on top of Razork. Instead, he finds Humanoid. He's on top of him. Gets the cleanse out, and that's just Victor and Cassante just chipping out the Talia very easily. Now Fnatic trying to chase down kills on the wrong side of the map. Nah. I think whiffed his ult. And Reckless is now put in a bad situation because of it. It's Odo's world now. He's going to get blocked, so that was a good play by Razor to stop the chase down. But right now, gonna be honest, I'm yet to see anything impressive from Fnatic. They invested time into Reckless. They got him a gold lead. As Baron started up, 2 TPs from either side coming through. Odo yet again just runs into their face. He knows he can do this quite safely. He's baiting them. He has a shielding, and you can't do anything if you're Fnatic. Odo too strong at this point. We'll watch it again. So, Victor just separating everything. Like, he keeps... Okay, so I'm just gonna back it up here. Victor W separates Fnatic away from XL. You can't walk through this area of the map. Otherwise, you're probably going to get bursted out. So XL, knowing full well that Fnatic are trying to come through here, go up here onto Humanoid. And look, Fnatic are just trying to burst out the Drake. You got 3 members here. They get Drake, sure, but XL are already killing off your mid laner. Cass comes through to kind of knock back and stun up Reckless, so he's not a factor in this fight. And look, the chip damage come through bot side. Xerxes just being taken away, but Meganar comes through. Top side of the fight, Humanoid's dead. Excuse me. 4v5 is what we're in right now. And you look at the split that XL have, it's kind of the same as what Fnatic have. You've got 1 member, top lane, going into 3. You've got the mid and top going into 3, with technically Annie there being a nuisance. So, Oscarin probably is saying, hey look, ignore them 2 members, they're not with their team. I have a perfect lineup for a 3-man ult. He's stepping forward. He knows Belly Bop is on cooldown because he just got hit with it to transform him. So he's like, okay, we can go for this. Now there's 4 members of XL here. This is looking like a juicy Gnarl, because you land about here. He doesn't have flash, so he can't really go for that. But he can jump into here. It looks like a good ultimate position. Razor's like, pull the trigger, go for it. And in fact, Oscar's just backed up. Like, you could have realistically walked here to avoid the laser, or tanked the laser itself, then gone forward. Instead, you're jumping up here into a bad position. I don't like this because you've got the blast cone there, but you're nowhere near a target. He gets belly bopped away as well, so he can't pull the trigger straight away onto Xerxes. So when he pulls the trigger, Xerxes just walked out of range. It was a bad angle, I feel, as well from Oscarin, because he pushed. Yeah, it's such a bad angle. If you manage to get in there and push, maybe you clip Odo, but you're definitely clipping out the jungle. If he got the jungler there, that would have been 4v4, sorry. But I still think Fnatic would have lost. 1-2. Reckless is nowhere near this. So, when Zeri pops ult, damage comes through. Gale Force. A bit aggressive, because he was still in stopwatch. Like, I'm gonna go back. I want to see when he pushed Gale Force. So that, I guess, because he knows that he's stunned. Okay, he's Gale Forcing now. Yeah, so the Gale Force came through before the stopwatch. So as a whole, that's a good play from Xerxes to kind of put Reckless in a bad situation. Because Reckless just wants to even out the kills here. He just wants to make this fight a little bit more favorable and get himself a bit of gold. He, however, does not get the kill. And I'm going to be brutally honest, as a ADC who does have the safety of his ultimate, I personally don't like this aggressiveness from Reckless. You could say is very reckless of him to do. Kill me. But yeah, if I was Reckless, I would have immediately pressed my get me out of here button. And he instead auto attacks Cassante. And so he just gets jumped on immediately by the Annie. That's another stun. Laser, boom, Zeri, boom. As a whole, Fnatic just misplaying fights. It's bad decision making. Reckless getting caught out. Oscarin just missing his ult. I mean, isn't the biggest of blunders, but it would have probably been a teamfight turnaround if he got that. And what do you know? He now has flash. So the play of flash ult is available to him now. It wasn't available during that teamfight. And yeah, that damage shot. When Heimer's doing more damage than your top laner, kind of tells you that A, Heimer is a broken champion, and B, he's just doing more than what Gnar is. I'm just quickly looking at the items now, by the way. I'm not a fan of the fact that Talia has rushed Void Staff. It seems a little redundant when you can go like Death Cap to increase your burst potential, because right now Fnatic are lacking in burst. As nah, yeah, that's just clean. I can't really give a breakdown on something like that because it's just perfectly timed. We'll get a replay of it and it'll be super slow-mo. I know that. But this just allows XL to turn to Baron. They've got vision control of this top half of the map like they have most of the game, whereas Fnatic have had control of the bottom half. It's pretty interesting, to say the least. Fnatic have controlled bottom half of the map, and yet they don't have Soul. Weaver's Wall comes through. They're not even going to use it. Fnatic are kind of like, what do we do here? Cleanse comes through from Zeri to avoid the not lock up, but Fnatic are basically just standing here watching this Baron fall. You're getting nothing on the bottom half of the map. The wave isn't pushing. XL have push in mid. Top wave is push for XL. Fnatic just basically watched the Baron fall. Like, there was no engage onto this Baron pit by Razork, which you would have expected. Anyway, Belly Bop, Annual, Zeri, Cask, good night. Yeah. It's just stun combo into stun combo, allowing XL to get the kill there on top screen. And I'm genuinely thinking Fnatic aren't on the right page right now. Like, these calls feel split. There's no actual leader in this team. You probably expect Reckless to be making the calls, but he's being caught out right now, and he's dead to Odo. Like, genuinely dead. You cannot survive a Cassante if you're a Xayah, simply put. And he's still chasing down kills. Talia, next target in his eyes. Belly Bop, Cass, good night. Yeah. XL feel like they're on the page or on the ball a lot more than what Fnatic do in this game. Fnatic feel so detached from one another, I guess is the best way to word it. I mean, they're definitely not on the same page. Nah has got ult here. He doesn't pull the trigger. Like, I know you probably would have died, but pull the trigger. You've only hit, and you pull them the wrong way. I mean, that just felt like a bad ult. Because if you pull them into your team, you could at least possibly go for a kill. You didn't even get a stun there, and that just felt... It felt like stage nerves coming out from Oscar in the opening game. And it also felt like Fnatic just aren't on the same page. The split calls really didn't help. And personally, after watching this one, I definitely think Fnatic are a bottom team. Like, I didn't genuinely break this down when I watched it live. I just watched it, hope for the best that it is a good game. And, well, I wouldn't say it's a good game. I certainly won't say it's certainly more eye-opening about the Fnatic squad than I would say the XL squad. Because XL, they just weathered the storm, got a massive lead topside, and played the vision game a lot better than what Fnatic did. And so they just were able to steamroll through a squad that just felt so out of it. And while they did get Reckless a lead early, and he was a very big threat, he wasn't able to kind of show up in the team fights because there was, I don't think, enough play for him. Yes, Razork went in when he needed to, and he did lock up good targets. It still wasn't enough because he wasn't able to get through the Victor poke, through the Annie threat. It just was too much for Fnatic, and I think they got hard draft countered and just couldn't play it. I dare say, after day one, we'll possibly be seeing Annie banned a lot more. Like, I don't even think day one she got banned once. She definitely was picked a lot, so I'm actually going to check that, because I am intrigued by it. LEC Spring. Pick ban. Here. All champions. She's been banned 3 times out of the 5 games. She's had a 100% impact on a game. That tells you something about this pick. And it's not because it's like the strongest lane bully. It's because of the fact she provides threat in teamfights. It's basically you're like facing 6 players because Tibbers is equivalent to another player. And I'm personally liking the fact that she's seen this much like effectiveness in draft. I'm a little shocked that Ashe has been banned 5 times. Considering, I don't know, I don't associate like certain players good with Ashe. So basically Ashe, in my opinion, is a support pick. But Umbral Glaive got nerfed quite heavily. One of the big reasons you pick Ashe is for the Umbral Glaive, because you can clear wards quite quickly. But you also pick her for the Ashe Arrow. With Annie now being prevalent as a support, I dare say we might see the Ashe ban dropped a lot more and Ashe being picked more. Just like you may see Ashheimer from time to time, but Ashe with anything as the ADC is quite strong. But I think any ADC paired with Annie is quite strong. So I think we may end up seeing one game this weekend where Ashe versus Annie support is a thing. I personally would like that to happen. Regardless, that's going to be it for today. I don't know what I'm going to go for my matchup next week. Yes, it's last year. Here we go. I haven't finished this yet, but next week, what game stands out to me? What do I want to cover? Who do I want to cover? Spoiler alert, we'll pick it right now. Flipping, let's just do it. We've covered Fnatic, we've covered XL. I'm feeling a bit of Astralis, honestly. Astralis Vitality isn't a terrible shout. I think we'll go for that. Also, I really hate that I said the leader's a bad player now. Go Astralis Vitality for our match of the week next week. Following week, who do I think won't make playoffs? Who's going to be bottom 2? I mean, who did we cover last split, like, as a whole? I think we covered G2 a lot. We covered Mad a lot. I think we might have to cover Koi. Yeah. We might be covering Koi. Koi, Face, BDS, XL. Let's go with that. That'll be our matches of the week. Anyway, I'm being a bit silly goofy. I'm pretty sure I said BDS. Not gonna lie, don't remember. I'll have a quick look, see. Yeah, you can kind of see when I made predictions. Anyway, thank you for joining me today. I'm gonna end stream here. I hope you guys enjoyed.